Hello, everyone. Welcome to Tuesday's Live. It normally is a Thursday, but I know that a lot of people have said to me that they would prefer it to be on a Tuesday. So we're going to go in with a Tuesday and see how that works for everyone. Let me just move myself back. I don't need to be right in your face because we're talking about skincare today. And Fiona is going to be joining us. Thank you, Bring them on camera. Yes, I'm bringing Fiona on camera. Yes, and approve. Invite. Okay, I'm done. Fiona, I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Did that work? Yay! Oh my God. I cannot tell you, I have got the biggest butterflies in my stomach because of trying to get this to go live. I was literally beside myself. I've been dropping my CBD oil in my.
Honestly, I'm the same. I don't know what it is about Facebook. Instagram, I know how it works. Facebook just seems to baffle me a bit. I mean, it's not difficult. I get baffled quite easily, but...
Me too.
How are you?
I am really good. Oh, I love your background. That is so pretty. Oh, I love that. That is gorgeous.
I'm a little bit glowy, actually. I'm just going to turn my lighting down a bit.
So, for those of you who do not know Fiona, you need to know her. She's an absolute must. She is a skin guru, a skin genius. What she doesn't know isn't worth knowing. So, really, she's wonderful.
Thank you.
And you have a fabulous Facebook page. It's called, you've got two actually, don't you?
Yes, I do. I have a closed group, which was really kind of set up actually because my previous page is actually Fiona Brackenbury Skin Expert, which is the open book. But lots of people kind of said they wanted to speak to me, you know, privately, and so I set up a closed group. But actually now the closed group is really big, so yeah, I'm kind of at this moment deciding which one I should keep and whether I should just have one, because it would make sense to just have one. But yeah, I have two at the moment.
Yeah, and they're both really good and they're both really interesting, and you give such incredibly good advice. So much so we have had literally pages full of questions. And there was a couple more that came on after I sent this off to you. So we can get started. If you've got any questions for Fiona and we're on here, please put them in the comments. I will pop on my glasses to read them because I don't have to do any makeup. This is like my little bit of a treat because I don't have to actually do any work. I just have to ask the brilliant questions that you've all posed to me to Fiona. So fantastic. So shall we start?
Yeah, I'm just going to see if that makes it. Oh, that's better, isn't it? I seem to be very shiny, very... Do I look shiny? No?
You look like you've got a glow in your cheek, but I think that's what you're supposed to have. I look a little bit flat, so I don't know if that's...
I've been rushing around, so I think it's just sweat. Or hormones.
Just a bit of sweat. I tell you something, I was so cold today. I don't know about you when you were rushing. Talk about sweat. You get hot because you have your hat on and things like that. But your extremities, like even my fingers are still a little bit red around here.
It's really cold though, isn't it, today?
Oh, it's really, really chilly.
Yeah, really cold.
That is the thing. That is what I think a lot of people, I mean, here in the Northern Hemisphere, if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, like my daughter who lives in Australia, and a lot of the people that do watch are from Australia as well, or from the Southern United States where it is still relatively warm. They don't have that where you're going from literally freezing outside to something that's warm, because your skin can't, very cold, Sue, I agree. You can't, your skin can't adjust that quickly, because I notice when I come in from the cold, my face glows red. It feels like it's on fire.
Yeah, mine
and then
too.
It settles down.
Yeah, mine too. And particularly over the last kind of, I would say, week to 2 weeks, I've had to even change my own skincare routine, because I've noticed when I was going out walking the dog in the morning and it was bitterly cold, by the evening, because I was coming into such a warm, hot environment because we got the central heating on, by the end of the day, my skin was actually starting to feel quite sensitive. So that is absolutely quite quite normal for your skin to react and behave that way, because you're literally going from hot to cold, and your skin doesn't like it.
Yeah, because also too, if you're nipping into the shops, I know that we can, I mean, we're not going crazy, but we are nipping into like a shop, you know, if we're going to do our groceries or going to pick something up. So we're still going in from the cold to the warm, like quite a bit, like you've said. Before we go into the questions, can I ask, then what can we do about that? Is there something that we, you know, we should be doing, or what we shouldn't be doing?
Well, it's actually, your moisturizer is really important right now. Your moisturizer and your SPF, they are like, kind of, if you like, they're like your windshields, they're your skin protectors, they're your winterproofers. Everything else underneath is kind of just going to be your kind of added extras, if you like. But your moisturizer and your SPF are like your non-negotiables. You need to make sure that they are on and they are working really hard for you. Otherwise, you're just not going to get it. If you find that by the end of the day your skin's slightly sensitive, then we might need to do some tweaks, like I had to, because my skin was becoming more and more sensitive. So I just tweaked my cleanser and things like that. But definitely you want to make sure that you've got a really good moisturizer and a really good SPF that literally are almost like your barrier between your skin and the extremities and the outside.
Well, actually, funny you say that about the SPF, because I'm going to quickly jump into one of the questions, because it was from Trish. She lives in Ireland, and she said, do I need she said a high SPF in the winter? Obviously, I guess maybe she thinks she does need an SPF. She says, I live in Ireland. It's not that sunny here in the winter. Sorry, I live in the UK, and Fiona lives in the UK. It's not that sunny here either.
No. So reading between the lines, and she said a high SPF. So I think in the winter, it's fair to say you could go down to a 30. And that would be sufficient. So you don't have to stay at 50. I stay at 50 all year round, just because I have got a few 30s, but I don't have a huge amount of 30s. I have a lot of 50s, so I tend to kind of just stick to that. But definitely in the winter, there's no reason why you couldn't stay in and stay in a 30. But you definitely do want to be applying it every day. I kind of liken it to, especially maybe if you've got a chair that's by a window, or you've got your desk by a window, or you've even got your sofa, and one side of your sofa is actually looking out to the window, but the rest of the sofa is kind of looking that way. Even that UVA is still coming through the glass, so you do want some kind of protection.
Or if you're driving, if you're driving, that will do the same thing, won't it? If you're driving and it comes through the window and things like that. Or like you said, you're walking your dog. You may not be walking the dog for like 4 hours, but you will be going out there for a considerable amount of time. And even if it's cloudy, the UV rays come through. But I also know that I remember reading somewhere ages ago, and I don't know if I'm still correct about that with the computer, if a lot of us are on computers, there's UV rays that come through the computer as well, which
blue light
freaked me out to no end. But that was like
and
another
your
thing.
Your phone. So it's a really good habit to get into, is just every morning put your moisturizer on and then put your SPF on, particularly in the winter. If you're finding that you're not going out much and you're staying inside, then your SPF could actually be your moisturizer as well. So you could easily double up that way and actually forgo your moisturizer and just have your SPF. But you're right, your computer, your laptop, your phone, all of that is emitting blue light, even your TV to a degree. So
yeah, I know, it's quite surprising. So I'm a 50 girl as well. And you know what, I feel that if I bought it and I've used it in the summertime and there's still a bit left, I may as well finish it off, because
that's
I find it so. I'm such a I'm from old school. I can't stand waste. So for me, I really want to be able to use that, and I'm glad that I've been doing it. At least that's one thing I've been doing okay. So that's good to know.
But that's such a good idea, because you might have started it in the summer, and invariably they've got 12 months after opening. Some are even less. Some are 6 months. So always have a look at that, because if you did open it, say you opened it in April, and you then didn't use it till the following April, it would actually be out of date. So you do kind of want to make sure that you use it.
I'm gonna own up. I'm gonna confess. I did that one year, many years ago. I bought an SPF. I think probably it was in August, because I had run out. And then I saved it, and I didn't use very much of it because I didn't realize that you should be putting it on. It was before lots of computers and things were around. And then I took it on holiday in May. We went to the Caymans. This was like, we're talking about in the 90s. Okay, it's a long time ago. And everyone got burnt really badly.
Really?
Yeah. and it was a high SPF, and it was a really great company, and I
Good
love
brand.
their sun products. And it's I felt so bad, and it was because the potency had diminished,
Yeah,
and maybe had, yeah. And it
Yeah,
was like it was like, after open use within, I think it was about 12 months, but even
yeah,
then it was getting to that 12 months and it
yeah,
just wasn't as strong. So
yeah,
that to me is,
absolutely.
that's not great.
You're absolutely right. And for every year, well, for every month, it's past that date on the back of the packaging, it starts to deteriorate. So you can't
Okay.
guarantee it's going to give you that level of SPF, which is obviously the most important thing. Which is fine if it's in a 50, because you think, okay, well, is it going to be a 40 or is it going to be a 30? But if it was already a 30,
Yeah, you're
then
looking at something like a 15 or something, or a
yeah,
10
it's just
even.
literally, and then I would be really uncomfortable. On your face, you really do want to make sure you're no lower than a 30, really.
Yeah, no, I know. And the thing is, it doesn't just stop you from sunburning. It actually stops you from getting that hyperpigmentation, which
Yeah,
you don't notice that you have that until it's too late.
until 10 years later.
Yeah. And then you go, oh,
You're like, oh,
crap. I remember I had such a horrific experience one time. I was doing something and I had a mirror here beside me, and I was on the computer, and I glanced over and I went, oh my God, who's that old lady? I was like, oh my God, because I had seen all these lines here from when because I got really badly sunburnt when I was 15. I got
oh,
like
did
third
you?
degree burn because I fell asleep in the sun stupidly,
Oh,
with no SPF, and my eyes swelled closed, my face puffed up, and I saw all these lines on my
oh
face,
my
and I
goodness.
saw them again, and I thought, you know what? I'm gonna do everything I can to help that. But the
Mm.
pigmentation I couldn't do anything about because that was
Oh,
too hard, that
really?
was too deep. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So
Oh my
very bad.
goodness.
So don't do what I did to anybody,
No.
and don't use it if it's been around for a long period of time, because crumbs, I didn't realize that. So yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's go. So I've got quite a few questions from Sandy. So Sandy, thank you for all these brilliant questions. Sandy says, I read through some of Skin School on Fiona's website. I noticed info on oil, and I'm wondering if the process should be cleansing hyaluronic serum, then oil, then moisturizer for the morning.
Yes.
I have to say, I get confused as well. Sometimes, do I put because I use a vitamin C, I use the Kiehl's vitamin C in the morning. And I'm like, okay, do I do the vitamin C or do I do the hyaluronic
Yeah.
first? Or do I, and it's really confusing because you
It
want
is.
to you're buying the stuff and you want to get the best out of whatever it is you're
Yeah.
buying. And I'm
Yeah.
sure that if you do it the wrong way, you're not doing
Yeah,
any
totally.
good.
Well, and
Okay.
so it really varies from brand to brand. So you will get some brands that say, oh, my oil needs to go on after a moisturizer, or you'll get some brands that say my oil needs to go on after or before hyaluronic acid. So there's so many. So brands actually have their own remit, but the
Okay.
general thought process that you should try and keep in your mind is that if you're going to use a hyaluronic acid, for example, that if it's a water-based hyaluronic acid, which it invariably will be, that needs to go on first, because it's water and it's drawing in and it's trying to pull in moisture. If you have a hydrating mist, that's really good if you literally spritz your hydrating mist first, and then you literally then put your hyaluronic acid in. It will help to go in really quickly. So that's a really
I didn't know
top
that.
tip.
That's good.
Yeah, really a really good top tip. If you've got very
Great.
dry skin, dehydrated skin, spritz first, then put your hyaluronic acid in. It will go in
Because
brilliantly.
I've got the spray stuff, and I have the hyaluronic as well. And I, for the life of me, can never remember when I'm supposed to put this on. Do I put it on after or before? So
spray, if your skin's really thirsty and dry, spray it first because it will help pull it in. You can also spray it on over the top as well. So you could sandwich it if you wanted to. But if you've got a really dry skin, make sure it goes on first because that's really important. And then after that, we can then build. So we can then build, and if, say, for instance, I think her next step was a facial oil. So then a facial oil would go on. And if you imagine, that's kind of going to going to trap everything and lock it in and seal it in. So then we're going to put our moisturizer on over the top and then our SPF. So everything's kind of sealed in. The only change would be if you had a vitamin C. So if you had a vitamin C that actually had, and this is where you have to read the ingredient listing to see if it says L-ascorbic acid, then that's when you need to then put that on first. If it's got L-ascorbic acid on, it must go on first.
How do I see that? Because I'm looking at mine now. Which one
have you got there?
I've got the Kiehl's one.
I think that is L-ascorbic acid, so that will need to go on first.
I always put this one on first, only because I do. I didn't know that.
I think that one is L-ascorbic acid, so you just need to put that on first.
I tell you, this is probably my 4th or 5th bottle is coming to an end, so I need to get some more.
Yeah, it's very good.
Okay, the stuff that I'm saying is, Fiona and I purchase all of our things, so yeah. Oh, okay. Sue said about an essence or an Elemis oil. Yeah, I've got an Elemis product that I need to ask. So Sue, great question. I've also got this one.
Oh, I don't know what that one is. That is
the Sikia Calm hydration juice.
I would put that on over the top of your vitamin C. I'd put vitamin C on first because it's L-ascorbic acid, and then I'd put that on over the top. Now, Sue just mentioned an essence. Now, I'm a huge fan of essences, especially.
I don't know what those are.
Okay, so if you imagine they're like a very liquidy moisturizer. They're kind of a cross between a moisturizer and a serum in the sense of how they work. So basically, they're really liquidy. You pour them into your hands. They're best applied straight after you've cleansed your skin, so after you've toned. Put them on, and what they do is they basically fill. If you imagine a sponge holding all the water, that's exactly what they do to your skin. So they basically fill all of the very top layers with moisture into the skin. So then all of your rest of your skincare actually can get in quicker and deeper into your skin, and then you put everything else on over the top.
What are some? Okay, Judy. I don't know, Fiona. I'm not having any problems with our video. Are you having any problems?
No, I'm not. What?
Okay, so maybe it's where you are, Judy. I'm really sorry, but it will be saved.
Yeah.
I'll save this, and then you can watch it again if you are having it where it's coming in and out.
Yeah,
because it's fine so far.
I can see you fine and hear you fine.
Okay. Who make essences? Because I am completely ignorant of essences.
Oh my goodness.
I'm trying to look and see if I have anything. I've got a facial oil. I've got other things, but I don't know anything about essences.
Okay. So the brands I really like that make a really good essence. Elemis have a really lovely Elemis have a really lovely essence called Pro Collagen Marine Moisture. Pro Collagen Moisture Essence, I think it is. Oh, it's here. Pro Collagen Marine Moisture Essence. Looks like that.
Okay.
That's very, very good. I really like that. Also Fresh Beauty, if you're familiar with that brand.
I know Fresh because I use a spray from them when I travel. Yes. I love their spray, and I love a lot of their things.
They have a kombucha, which is basically a really powerful antioxidant and prebiotic, so that's really lovely as well. Who else do one? Indeed Labs also do one, which is really lovely. Theirs is a microbiome one, so really good for the good and bad bacteria if you've got any sensitivity, really good. Or you get any rosacea. Another really good one, which is really reasonable. The only thing is it comes in a 50 ml, but even if you got 2 of them, it still would be really reasonable. And it's called Dr. Jart. It's a little.
I know that. I use sometimes their masks.
Oh yes. So I was hoping I had it with me. I did have it. I'm looking to see. I did have it the other day, and I can't see it. Bear with me.
Okay. So if you've got any questions, please put them in the comments here, and if we'll make sure we try to get to all of the questions and everything like that. There's so many things I didn't know about. I thought I knew a few things, but obviously not. Yeah,
Dr. Jart. Yeah, it's a little blue bottle like that. I think it's a 50 ml. And actually, let me just double check, it's a 50 ml. Yes, it's a 50 ml. And actually, most brands are a 100 ml. So it is a smaller size, but that's quite nice because then you can try it. But it's really, even if you bought 2 to make up to the equivalent of 100, some of these are like £60, so they're quite expensive. Whereas I think this is like £13 or something. It was really.
The thing is, it's great if you want to try something like this for the first time, because I love to be able to try things and just see how they work, because that's how I will buy things, and if they work, I'm like, woo, and then I'll rebuy and rebuy and rebuy. And like I said, everything that I've got in front of me, I'm a rebuyer. The only thing I have, this is the first time I've ever bought this, and I don't know why I bought it, but I thought it sounded good. And I'm sure there are other people out there
What
that are
for?
like me.
I'm intrigued now.
I got this from Victoria Health, and it's pure squalene oil.
Oh,
And
very
it's
good.
olive squalene. It's not from
Yes,
sharks.
it's from plants, not from animals. That's very good.
Plants.
So the reason why that's really good for you is because it's actually almost identical, not exactly, but it's created to be almost identical to your skin's own natural squalene in your skin.
Okay.
So your skin has this natural oil, and that is almost like a copycat. It's as close as it possibly could get without it coming from an animal. So it comes from a plant, particularly from olive oil. You find it's very rich in. And it's amazing in the skin, and it really brings comfort. It's lovely at night time. You could put that on before a night cream. Yeah, it's beautiful. Lovely.
Fantastic.
You can do a bit of a massage with that.
It feels great, but I didn't know what I was supposed to do with it. Like I said,
very good.
I read about it, and then I think, oh, I must try this. And then I think, oh, I don't know where I'm supposed to use this.
No, it's really
I'm
good.
sure that I'm not the only one out there that's thinking, oh, yeah, that's me.
No.
Okay,
actually, I wrote about that. A whole ingredient in the Daily Mail actually a while back, because it's such a good ingredient and it's really reasonable. So you can get a squalene cleanser. The Ordinary have a squalene cleanser, and you can get more expensive brands, but it's actually a really, really brilliant oil that actually you could just slot into your routine. So very good.
Well, that is, well, I'm happy I got it then. And the one here from Victoria Health was very reasonable as well. So
yeah.
it's not, you're not breaking the bank kind of thing. Okay. Then Sandy also asks about, and I don't know what this is, the Z11 or LLIIP and or other microcurrent devices. Is that like this that I've got? Because you told me to get this ages ago.
It's very similar to that. Yeah, it's very similar to that. Basically, I mean, with all of these tools, they're all microcurrents, so they all have this ability to kind of actually almost kind of like tighten and firm the skin. And they do definitely work. But the problem is, and this is something that I put my hands up to, that I'm not very good at, is you need to use it every single day. And that's good if you can get into the mindset of maybe, even if you know that you end your day watching television, if it can be literally by the television where the remote control is, so you literally pick it up, and while you're watching television you're doing it, because you just need to keep doing those repetitive movements. It definitely works, but you just need to be really committed.
I'm really bad, because I, like you, I'll do it for like maybe a couple of weeks.
Me too.
And then life gets in the way, and I go, oh. And then I look at myself and think, oh, you know what? I really need to do it, because I use my light mask every now and again, and it's when I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got this one. This is like first generation ones. I mean, I look like Darth Vader in this, but I love that.
Use it.
When I use it after a few days, you can see a positive difference.
I know.
But it's not going to do anything sitting in my drawer.
I know. I'm the same. I'm exactly the same. And I know that it would deliver amazing results. And they're a considered investment. Like they're I think the Zip one is something like £400 or something like that. So they are
I didn't know that.
Purchase. Yeah. I think new faces.
Well, I remember I got this one. For during Black Friday, because I thought I was going to get that. This one I bought, and it was one of those ones where you can pay over a period of time, because this was like £200 or £300.
Yeah, I think
way back. I bought this in 2018, so this was a long time ago. That's why
they're all around that kind of price. So it is an investment, and you definitely want to be just making sure that you get the most out of it. They definitely work, 100%. They work, but you have to use them every day.
They do.
To get them to work. It's a bit like, I liken it to a bit like if you wanted to get a 6-pack. Obviously, you know, I haven't got a 6-pack.
Yeah, you have to do the work for the 6-pack.
You have to do the work. That's why I haven't got a
6-pack. Me either. Says it all for me. That's exactly right. I'm with you on that one. Okay, so Caroline here says, and I know Caroline, she says, how can I stop early signs of crepiness? And I'm thinking, or later signs of crepiness.
Yeah, I mean, crepiness is a really challenging one, because actually And it's interesting, she says, how do I stop it, or how, and
Yeah.
did she use the word stop, because has she just seen it start to creep in? Did I read that?
Yeah. No, yeah, she said, yeah. And there was two people that had the crepiness thing. Hold on,
Okay.
what was the other one? There was somebody that said about her, was it the neck? I thought there was two people with crepiness.
I did
because
too.
I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, crepiness is a classic around the neck area. And the problem with crepiness is that it's a loss.
That's where I've got it.
Yeah, it's a loss of elasticity as well as collagen. So it's a really challenging thing. That's where you need to make sure that either peptides, particularly the neck, the challenge with the neck is that you can't do a lot of treatment that you would necessarily do on the face. You do need to be a little bit
because you're not supposed to do anything here. Isn't that right?
It's really, it can be really delicate. So it's one of those ingredients that it's one of those areas that you need to be really aware of. So kind of just be very aware of how far you put everything down. Obviously, you want to put all your oils, you want to put all your moisturizers, you want to take all your cleansers down. But if you're ever going to use something like a retinol, ideally you will stop there with a retinol, which then makes it quite challenging, because it's like the retinol is probably the one thing that your neck does need. So then you could use a peptide. So peptides are really good. To be honest, my neck can't take a retinol, but anybody watching might go, actually, my neck can. If your neck can take a retinol, then definitely use it. But mine definitely can't. And on a whole, most people can't use anything on their neck.
So why? What would be? Would it go? Does it go red or sore, or what happens to it?
It becomes red and irritated and really sore.
Okay.
Yeah, really badly sore actually. So and then you just have to take all of your skincare away, and that actually can irritate and accelerate the crepiness even more. So you do need to tread carefully. I would say start with peptides first. Peptides and a really good ceramide moisturizer is where I would start on the neck area. Even some vitamin C in the day.
I bought this, and this is for neck and décolleté. So I've been doing this. It probably would be worse if I hadn't been doing it, but I don't notice a huge difference. So yeah.
So I had a lovely lady test that for me actually, because that's the serum version, isn't it? They have a cream and they have a serum.
Yeah, I've got the cream as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So I had a lady test that for me. She was brilliant. She didn't know what she was testing, so she couldn't be biased at all. And basically I sent her the night cream, the serum, and the day, because there's 3 products for the neck, and I was a bit like, that's a lot of product, you know, because you've already got your skincare here.
Yeah, I know, it's a lot to do.
Yeah. So she tested it for me, and she was brilliant. And what she did was she put I literally would label them, and I go, right, A is going to go on the left and B is going to go on the right, and she would do this every day. So on one side she had just the serum, and on the other side she had the serum and the cream, and we did various different tests along the way, and basically it turns out, and then we also did the night version of it, and what was really interesting is the best results she got was from the actual day neck cream rather than the serum and the night. So in actual fact, which was real testament. So you could just, if 3 products was just not an option, then you could you can go with just the one, which is the neck cream for the day, and then use it at night time as well. But definitely this area does need some TLC, so it's definitely worth investing in. And also just think about things like masks at night time. This area becomes really dry because there's less oil glands here than here, so you've got more chance of dehydrating. In the winter we wear lots of scarves and lots of roll necks, so this area really dehydrates as well. So just really try and invest in lots of moisture as well, and just make sure you exfoliate it, moisturize, but get like something like a peptide serum on it, and it will be happy as can be. And if you can, put a vitamin C, but definitely a peptide.
Fantastic. Now you touched on one of the other questions. Debbie says, how often should I exfoliate my face, and what should I use?
Yeah. So exfoliation,
I mean, that might be how long is a piece of string.
Well, so exfoliation is a tricky one, because now we've got daily exfoliant, so we can now exfoliate with a toner. So I mean that's amazing, really, when you think about it, how far we've come.
Can I ask, is that like this? I mean, look at this one's very well used.
Yes. So
I love this.
That's a classic.
Look how much is left.
Yeah, that's a classic daily exfoliant. It's brilliant. It's so good. It's lovely and gentle. It's really effective. So you could do that. Because if you think about it, if we went back 10 years ago, we were probably exfoliating twice a week or maybe 3 times a week.
Yeah.
And we were exfoliating with something more like a granular exfoliator. And you can still do that. I think the first thing is to kind of ask yourself, do you want to exfoliate daily, as in micro-daily? So like you are literally, which is your toner, and you literally can take your cotton pad, wipe over, and you're done. And you can do that every night, and it's really simple, easy. Or are you more like, actually, I like the feeling of a scrub, so I'd like to do that a couple of times a week, and I really kind of want that feeling because it makes me feel clean. You could do that. Or the other thing you can do, which is brilliant now, you can also get them where you sleep with them on, and they like literally slow release whilst you're sleeping. So I think it's important, first of all, ask what is your lifestyle. Have you got an incredibly busy lifestyle where you just think 2 or 3 times a week, I'm never going to remember, I'm better with a daily toner that's going to exfoliate, or I'm better to do it when I'm sleeping. And if you are, you're more likely to be going with what's called a liquid exfoliant rather than a granular exfoliant or an enzyme exfoliant. So they're much more kind of, there's no texture to them, and literally like a fluid. Put them on, and then they get to work at your dead skin cells. So I would say to the lady that asked, I would definitely say, think about how much time you've got. Do you want something quick and easy? Because if you do, sleeping with a liquid exfoliant is brilliant, or actually using a toner, which is exfoliating, is also brilliant.
Now, can I ask, okay, I have just recently purchased, I've been purchasing a lot recently.
Me too.
I got the Alpha H.
Oh, yeah.
I used to use this centuries ago. I mean, not quite centuries ago, but probably about when they first launched. Then I stopped using it, and now I started using it again. Is that similar to this, or is that different? So, because they say you can only use this a couple of times a week.
Yes. So they are very different. So first of all, they're very different in strength. So you will find that actually the Ren one that you've got there is a really gentle micro exfoliation that you can use every day, no problem. And you just would use it instead of a toner. So you wouldn't need to tone and do that. You literally just use that as a toner. And I think, if I'm right, it's lactic acid, which is a lovely big molecule that brings lots of moisture to the skin. The one that's in Alpha 8 is a glycolic, and that just means it's a little bit
it says
more,
there on it, like
and that means it goes in deeper. It's smaller. I liken it to a bit like it's a little bit of a diva. It's amazing, but she likes the spotlight. She loves to rock it on the skin, and boy does she rock. But she definitely isn't for everybody, and she's not for everybody using it every day. So you do need to be careful of glycolic. So I would say, if you've got a sensitive skin, let's start off with something like the Ren, which is lovely and gentle, can be used every day, and then we can work up to kind of those kind of, if her skin is absolutely fine and she has no sensitivity, then glycolic all the way, especially if you've got any uneven pigmentation, you know, and you've got no sensitivity. My skin, as I've got older, I used to be able to use glycolic all the time, and now my skin, as it's got older, has its days where it doesn't like glycolic at all.
Yeah, I've been using that, just like they say, once or twice a week. So I've been doing it once a week just to see. And then I also bought that came together with their midnight reboot serum.
Oh yes, I haven't tried that.
This is really nice. This is not a sales pitch, by the way, to anybody who's watching.
I've got that. I need to use it.
I tried this, and I really like it. I was so shocked that I liked it so much. So
really,
yeah, I was really surprised. It's got a really nice feel to it. I'll show you. It's like a little bit of a.
Oh, I have it. Liquid Reboot, and it's got peptides in it as well.
That's it. Yeah, so that's what it looks like, and it goes on. It's really light, because I really don't like sticky stuff on my face.
No.
And I mean, look at the difference between that. Just look at that.
You can see a real brightness.
Oh, absolutely. And it feels really pleasant. It doesn't feel like, you know, sticky
And
or anything like that. I was really quite surprised.
Does it say you use it every night? Apply in the evening, apply 4 to 5 drops onto a cleansed neck and massage. Oh, so you must use it every night.
You can use it every night. Because I mix stuff up, because I really like also these, is it the one that you leave on overnight from Elemis in the pink jar?
Oh, yes, yes. Oh, this has got
I
retinol
really like
in
that
as well.
one. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so this has
It's
got
very soothing. It doesn't, it really, I mean, look at, it really doesn't, like I said, this is not a pitch. I don't have no affiliation with them whatsoever. It's just really nice to say that there's something that I've tried that hasn't, because I've tried other things where my face has come out in a rash.
Because this is
yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, so it's 14% glycolic, and it's 1% retinoid, and it's got peptides, and it's got antioxidants in it. It sounds lovely. That's it. That's what I'm using tonight.
It's really, I was really pleasantly surprised. Sue, yeah, it's the one that's in the little pink pot. It looks, it's a little pink pot, the Elemis one, and you can put it on, and it just kind of, I did it last night because my skin needed help.
Is it midnight facial, or is it?
Yeah, midnight facial
or something like that. It's an overnight facial, isn't it? Yeah, it's very good.
It's so nice. You just feel like, ah.
Yeah. Thank you, Sue.
Okay,
yeah. So a midnight facial, I think it's called, isn't it? So I'm glad to hear, Sue.
I think so. But I mean, there's certain brands that I kind of gravitate a lot to. I mean, I don't experiment lots because I don't have the budget to experiment lots. But every so often I will try something new. But then like I said, like with the squalene, I'm like, I bought it, but I don't know what to use it for.
No. Well, that's it. But also, it's really confusing, don't you think? There's so much out there that it's a bit like, what do I use?
Yeah, for me, I mean, if someone was talking to me about makeup, I totally get it. But and I don't understand about the hair stuff, and that's why I go to people like you and to Denise for that kind of advice. And I'm sure that everyone that's watching goes, okay, we need someone that really knows their stuff, which is what you do. You know your stuff, and you're not going to send us down a rabbit hole where we have to put on 20 different things, and suddenly, we're taking out a second mortgage for our skincare.
I'm really aware that no two skins are alike, and I'm really conscious of anybody that's on the internet that says, oh, this worked, and they've got no background in skin, or they've got no background in looking at the ingredients, and then they say, oh, I really like this, and everybody rushes and buys it, and then they go, oh, it didn't work for me, and that's because it wasn't right for their skin. So whenever I test a product, I look at all the ingredients, I look at all the science. Then I do my own research and my own kind of marrying the ingredients to the skin to then make a conclusion of actually who it would be right for. So I like to do all of that.
Yeah, and that's really, and do you consult on that? So if somebody who's watching here says, you know what, I really need to speak to Fiona. I mean, we glossed over, I mean, you have given us fantastic information, but, we haven't covered maybe their particular thing that they're trying to find.
No, definitely. I'd always be happy to help.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, so we kind of touched on Barbara's question. Her thing, she says, I've seen so many different skin gadgets on the market. I just don't know what to choose or if they actually work. Well, as Fiona said, a lot of them work, but you have to do it, which is the main thing. And if you had to choose one, if you had to choose one, what would you invest in?
Yeah, I was going to say, I haven't used that zip one that she mentioned, or Z11P. I haven't used that one, but I did look at it, and it is microcurrents. I have used New Face. I really recommend New Face, and also Foreo Bare is also really good.
Oh, I love that.
But
I use the Ferrero thing, to wash my face every now and again, like an exfoliant thing and a deep clean. I love that little thing, not the Bear. The Bear's this different thing. But I'll tell you what I really like, and I've been using it probably for coming up to 20 years now, so I sound like I'm very, but the roller things.
Yes. Is that got needles on it? Microneedling. Yeah. Yes. Actually, we've got a question about microneedling.
Do we have a question about microneedling?
Yes.
Here. Sandy, it was, she said, is it best to microneedle before applying hyaluronic? I don't know.
Yeah, so
You obviously do.
It's a really good question. So most people will recommend that you do microneedling after and not before. However, don't be surprised if you ever have it in clinic or a dermatologist and they're using a product that will be used before. So it's obviously because they're using a different strength and they're using a different formula. But at home, you better do it on a dry skin, clean skin, and then obviously then put your ingredient, your serum afterwards, and it could be
okay. Well, that's how I've been doing this. And with the microneedling, it was one of those things when I remember buying it and thinking, this is not doing anything.
Yeah.
And I got to sort of the second week and it was like, oh my gosh, it really has made a difference. So I know for me, the microneedling works for me, but that doesn't mean it was going to work for everyone.
No, exactly.
And it also means, like you said, you have to do it, not just have it sitting in the box.
Yeah, you have to, literally have to be really consistent with it, I'm afraid. But yeah, and follow the instructions and don't overdo it with it. I think that's another one to bear in mind.
And the one good thing about the ones that they're different, because a friend of mine is an esthetician, or is that the right word? I hope that's the right word. And she does that. She actually does it with really deep needles. The needles that you do yourself are not deep needles. They're little teensy tiny needles. It's an annoying feeling, but it's not painful.
No, it shouldn't be painful, and you shouldn't be bleeding or anything like that afterwards. If ever there is any blood, sometimes it's done from when it's done in clinic, and that's because they're going deeper. But and there's various different things going, and they might have done a numbing cream.
There's when I do it myself, there's never any blood, because
no, they shouldn't be.
The needles aren't that, they're not that big. They're teensy tiny. Okay, so we have Tara. Tara says, can you recommend a hand cream? My hands are really dry, especially around the cuticles, because of all the washing and hand sanitizing I've been doing over the last 2 years. You're probably going to be continuing to do that as well, I'm going to say.
Absolutely. And it's L'Occitane. L'Occitane hand cream is so rich that actually I feel
like their foot cream.
And their foot cream is so good. It's just because of this sheer amount of shea butter that's in there, they really seal in that moisture. So I would literally, there's lots of hand creams that are just brilliant that you could put in your handbag and would get you through the day, no problem. But I think the time to really do the treatment is with L'Occitane at night time. So put it by the side of your bed, get a really good layer on, and then go to sleep with it on and let it really soak in and really and then in the summer, or you could do this in the winter, it's entirely up to you, is Ultrasun have a hand cream with an SPF in, and that is also superb as well.
That's a really good idea, because I tell you something, when I was younger, I used to get like prickly heat on my hands. So I used to always put an SPF on my hands, and fortunately I've got very few sunspots now, and
it's a good habit to get into.
But mine was only because I got such bad prickly heat from the sun. I had to put that on, like a big thick layer. And I'm now very grateful that I did that, because my sister didn't have to do it, and she's younger than me, and she's got she said, how come you don't have any freckles on your hands? And I'm like, well, I got a few, but it wasn't because of design, it was because I had to. So it was, okay, so that's good, Tara. Okay, let's go to the next one. We've done neck cream, so that's the same thing. So Becky, if you were listening to the other bits, the neck cream is the one that Anna, can you guide me through the steps for both an evening and morning routines? I'm not sure what order to put them in. I think we've kind of answered that question, but is there anything that maybe I've missed asking there?
I think we've covered it in the sense that your hyaluronic acid goes on first, unless you're using a vitamin C, then that will go on first. Then you want to build up your textures, so you're going to go to your oil, then your moisturizer, and that should be absolutely enough that you need. And you don't really need to be putting layers on layers.
You don't have to do all of these layers every single day. If you're because some people just say, oh, I haven't got the time, and they kind of go, okay, well, I won't do anything. But even, for me, some days I won't put all of the things on. Other days when I think, oh my gosh, my skin needs a little bit, then I'll put more on. So you kind of gauge, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And go by how your skin feels. So when you're cleansing your skin, or just before you're about to cleanse your skin, just kind of like just sense check your skin, because you know when it feels tight and taut. So just kind of sense check that.
Yeah, because I know that if I'm wearing a lot of makeup, if I'm doing stuff, my skin feels a lot drier, and especially if I'm in the heat, the warm and everything like that, it's just uncomfortable. So when I clean my face, I mean, I love wearing makeup, but I want to make sure that my skin is cleansed properly.
Agreed,
And then finally, Tina, I'll do it really quickly, Tina, because I know that you wanted this. You said this. Is there a difference between, what is the difference between an acid and a retinol?
Yes. So they are actually very different in the sense that what a retinol does is a retinol pushes all of your new cells up to the surface. My analogy, you know how I do like a bit of an analogy. I call peptides your personal trainer. I call retinol an espresso shot for your skin cells. So it basically awakens them and makes them all spring into action, and then they all start making their collagen. So that's how a retinol works. Whereas an actual acid is actually breaking the links of the dead skin cells. So if you imagine your dead skin cells are like this, so these are your cells, but they're linked together, and an acid comes along and breaks the cells and loosens them so that the dead skin cells can free up. So they are very different in the sense that actually what happens is the retinol pushes them up, but the acids break them away to free them. So they are very different. So although the feeling can be very similar, so when you feel your skin, both leave your skin super soft. So that's where I think where the confusion is, because the skin will look smoother and brighter with both of them, but they're doing it very differently.
But they're doing a different thing.
Yeah.
And then she finally says, also any suggestions for a good eye cream. I'm hoping that thinking you're talking about at nighttime, because I'm a big fan of eye creams at night, but I find that sometimes people put too heavy of an eye on during the day, and then their eye makeup kind of disintegrates.
Yeah. So I've had a bit of a revelation. So before Christmas, I tried and fell in love with Claren's double eye serum. It's amazing. It was absolutely incredible, but it's quite expensive. It's like, I don't know, 50 pounds or 55 pounds or anything, but it's beautiful. And I was like, wow, I really like it. And then just after New Year, I was approached by a company about an eye cream. And I'm always I must be the worst person to when anybody asks me to try anything, I say, you know, let me have a look, I'll go on your website, I'll do my background, and then I'll come back to you. Whereas they're probably not used to that, and they're like, anyway, this company was like, you know, have you checked? And I was like, oh no, sorry, I haven't, I will. But you know, and obviously I went and then I checked, and I was like, okay, this looks really impressive. So then I went back and I said, yeah, I'm happy to try it. And they were like, no, well, you know, we want to do more than that, we want to work with you. And I was like, no, I just want to try it. And they were like, and I was like, no, they were like, we want to work with you, we want you to, you know, test it and try it and tell us what you think. So anyway, I was a bit blown away by it, and I said, look, just send it to me, let me try it first, and then I'll come back to you and let you know. So anyway, I don't think they've ever had that before, ever, because they were just like so shocked.
Well, the thing is, what I love about you, Fiona, is that you're very authentic.
Yeah.
And you try the things. You will not just say, yeah, give me, yeah, great, I'm going to use it.
No.
And then just say, oh, this is wonderful. Even if you don't, you do all the research, which is so impressive, because like you said, they probably have never seen that before.
No.
And I'm sure that they don't see it very often anyway, but I'm just really impressed by that.
I probably am a pain. I'm sure I'm a pain, because they're like, for God's sake, just take the product. Whereas
but people who are watching, and people like myself who have not that knowledge, what I hate is, and I'll let you tell about the eye cream in a sec, but what I hate is, you know, when you look through the beauty pages, I remember wanting to try this particular product that this beauty editor, who I really respected, it said, oh, this is the best whatever it was, and I went out and bought it. I hated it. It was awful. It was just awful. And I remember saying something, and they said, oh yeah, because they're one of the advertisers, so we have to like it. And I'm like, Okay, fine. With a magazine, that's, you know, I guess that is true. You have to like it. But
I guess
me
it's
as a
not up to them to have an
consumer, it
opinion.
was something like £50. This was a few years ago. It was a lot of money to literally push into the bin, like just drop into the bin. And I ended up giving it away to you know, I said, if anybody else wants this, you know, maybe it wasn't just right for me, but it was, anyway. So tell us about this eye cream.
I mean, that's exactly how I feel. I'm very transparent with everybody. If I haven't tried it, I will say, like that zip, I'd be like, I haven't tried it, so I don't know, and I couldn't tell you whether it works. But I looked at the technology, and it's a microcurrent, so it absolutely should work. But the equivalent of that is New Face and Ferrero Bear, and I've tested both of them, and they both work. So with this eye cream, so I took it on board, and the research is incredible. So it's a patented formula, and actually this company has over 100 patents, which I was like blown away with. And it's particularly about stimulating collagen, and particularly collagen number 1 and 3, which make up 90% of your collagen. So it's an impressive formula. What really impressed me was this has 2 formulas. So it has one for underneath the eye and one for the eyelids. And I thought,
different,
is clever.
Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, really clever. Now you're gonna die when I tell you how much it is, and you're gonna be like gobsmacked. It's £11.
And we're going to be all running out to get it, because I do a really nice eye cream for underneath the eyes for the daytime, to soften in case you have that dryness underneath the eyes, for concealers and things like that. But my eye cream isn't an eye cream that you're going to be using at night, and you need other ones, and mine really isn't for this. It's more of a cosmetic eye cream than a functional eye cream. So who are these fantastic people?
So I've literally just put it on my on Instagram before I came, but it's Avon. It's I was like, I kid you not, I mean, and we had this conversation, and I was like, you know, I'll go and do my homework. And they were like, no, and I was like, no, I'm going to go my homework, and then I'll come back to you. And then they were like, no, we really want to work with you. And actually, you'll really laugh at this, because I actually had to ring them up and say, I just don't know if I've got time to test it, and I just don't know, and I don't want to lead you down a garden path. And they came back and they were like, no, we really want you to test it. They were so adamant. So I was like, okay, well, let me test it, and then I'll come back to you. Anyway, I came back to them and I went, I've tested this and I've done all the research, and they were really good. They sent me so much, and literally, I mean, I have to say, phenomenal. They were like, you want to know the science? We'll give you the science. And I was like, obviously, as you know,
well, they work with really good, they work really well with the good chemists and formulators and things like that. They have got, I mean, when I first started knowing about Avon, I did research into Avon because I wanted to know how their company was formed and everything like that. Because how they did it was they used to sell Bibles, and they used to give a gift with Bible purchase, which was a cosmetic product.
No, I did not know that.
It's really interesting, and how it's kind of gone down. And so I remember, and many years ago when I lived in Canada, they even had a perfume called Ariane, and I was like, of course I had to wear it. But they did another thing called Skin So Soft many years ago, and it was such a wonderful, but they have got they work with top labs, and they really do the business. And just because the price point is lower, it doesn't mean that it's not good.
This formula, like, literally surprised me so much. I mean, in the video you'll see my eyebrow is literally, I show you a different technique of how to apply it, which is my technique, not their technique, but my eyebrows really lifted, and I'm like, okay, we'll have that, I'll take that.
We like anything like that. That is really good. Oh, fantastic.
I'm absolutely blown away. But yeah, so I mean, obviously from one end to the other end, because, you know, the Clarins one is literally like, you know, 55 pounds, something like that, and it was beautiful and I loved it. But you know, if there's something that's like 11 pounds, I was like, that is absolutely incredible. So yeah, but yeah,
it was Avon.
I'll after this I'll go on and put it on underneath this live, so because it's on Instagram and I'm conscious it's not on here, so I'll pop it on.
Well, we're going to be on Instagram tomorrow. We're going to be talking about the same things, similar things, and we've got more. I think we've got a couple more questions as well, because some people prefer Instagram, some people prefer Facebook. So we have to, we want to make sure that we cover everyone. So that's really good.
And we're going to do Instagram tomorrow.
I know we're doing here same place. No, it's not the same place. We're going to be the same place roughly.
Different place.
But thank you so much, Fiona. I as always, I love speaking with you. You are the biggest wealth of information, and I love it because you're unbiased, and you do. I said before, you do the research, and it is so helpful for those of us who want to look our best and want to try products, but we just don't want to make costly mistakes. And that to me is the hard bit. And when I'm doing makeup stuff, I try to guide people the same way, so that they don't make costly makeup mistakes, because I've made so many costly
well, I mean, that's
skincare
exactly how I am.
Mistakes.
No, I'm exactly the same, and I want me to make the mistakes, so then nobody else has to make them. So that's I'm like, let me do the research, let me guide you, rather than you waste your money and it doesn't work. And so
and like I said, they can contact you for a private consultation and things like that.
I'm happy. I mean, Sue's on here, she'll tell you. I'm happy. I chat away to everybody about their skin, and I'm very happy, and I love helping people with their skin.
And I feel the same way about makeup. So it's a wonderful feeling to, for me, it's a wonderful feeling that I go away now that I know I can use some of these products and I can try them in different layers and things like that. And it's just, it's like, oh, great. I can, it's going to improve my life a little bit, and I'm maybe a little bit happier. Not that I'm not happy, but Sue, it's been so great. Anyway, I shall see you tomorrow. Thank you so much. Have a nice evening.
Thank you, and I will see you tomorrow. Take care.
Bye bye.
Thank you for having me.
Bye bye, everybody. Thank you for watching.